Good morning, my dear children. Welcome to St. Michael's e-learning classes. My name is Francis sir, and today we will be studying chapter number 3 of Social Science for Standard 4. The name of the chapter is My Country and Its Landscape. So let's read and understand this chapter. Knowing our country. India is in the southern part of the continent of Asia. It is the seventh largest and second most populated country in the world. It stretches about 3,214 kilometers from south and from north to south and 2,993 kilometers from east to west. So as you can see, my dear children, in this particular chapter, we are going to understand about a country and its landscape. That means how many states are there, how many union territories are there, etc. etc. So, when we begin with this chapter, we see that India is in the southern part of the continent of Asia and it is the seventh largest and second most populated country in the world. Now, let's see about the location of our country. Being located in the southern part of Asia, India is surrounded by water on three sides: the Bay of Bengal in the east, the Arabian Sea in the west, and the Indian Ocean in the south. India shares its borders with Pakistan and Afghanistan to the northwest, China, Nepal, and Bhutan to the north and northeast, and Myanmar and Bangladesh to the east. Sri Lanka and Maldives lie to the south of the country and are India's neighbor. So India, that is a country, it is belonging or it is situated in the southern part of Asia and it is surrounded by water on three sides, that is the Bay of Bengal towards the east side, the Arabian Sea in the west side, and the Indian Ocean in the south side. Now when we come to our borders, we see that India shares its borders with Pakistan and Afghanistan towards the northwest, China, Nepal, and Bhutan to north and northeast, and Myanmar and Bangladesh to the east. Towards the south, our neighbors are Sri Lanka and Maldives. Now let's see about the states and union territories of India. Today, India has a population of over 1 billion people. In order to look after the citizens of the country and to run it smoothly, it has been divided into 28 states and 9 union territories, including the National Capital Territory of Delhi. So, in India, we have 28 states and 9 union territories. Why it has been made in that way? So that we can run our country smoothly without any problems. And we have the National Capital Territory of Delhi. New Delhi is the capital of India, where the President, Prime Minister, and the other ministers of central live. So, in New Delhi, we have the capital of India in New Delhi, where the President, Prime Minister, and other ministers of central government they live. The offices of Government of India are also based in this city. So in New Delhi, we have the offices of Government of India also. The capital city of a state is the city from where its government functions. The table below lists the names of all the states and the union territories of India and the capitals. So, my dear children, in this particular page, that is in this section where my finger is pointed, we have the 28 states and the capitals respectively. So let's read it. Andhra Pradesh, the capital of Andhra Pradesh is Amravati. Then we have Arunachal Pradesh, it is Itanagar. For Assam, we have Dispur. For Bihar, we have the capital Patna. For Chhattisgarh, we have Raipur. For Goa, we have Panaji. For Gujarat, we have Gandhinagar. For Haryana, we have Chandigarh. For Himachal Pradesh, we have Simla. For Jharkhand, we have Ranchi. For Karnataka, we have Bengaluru. For Kerala, we have Thiruvananthapuram. For Madhya Pradesh, we have Bhopal. For Maharashtra, we have Mumbai. For Manipur, we have Imphal. For Meghalaya, we have Shillong. For Mizoram, we have Aizawl. For Nagaland, we have Kohima. For Odisha, we have the capital as Bhubaneswar. For Punjab, we have Chandigarh. Rajasthan, we have the capital Jaipur. Sikkim, we have Gangtok. Tamil Nadu, we have Chennai. Telangana, we have Hyderabad as its capital. Tripura, we have Agartala. Uttarakhand, we have Dehradun. Uttar Pradesh, we have Lucknow. And West Bengal, we have the capital as Kolkata. Now, in this second chart, we see the Union Territories. For Andaman and Nicobar Islands, the capital is Port Blair. For Chandigarh, it is Chandigarh itself. For Dadra and Nagar Haveli, we have Silvassa. For Daman and Diu, we have Daman. For Lakshadweep, we have Kavaratti. For NCT of Delhi, we have Delhi. For Puducherry, we have Puducherry. For Jammu and Kashmir, we have Srinagar, that is summer. In summer, it is Srinagar, and Jammu in winter. And for Ladakh, we have Leh. So these were the capital of the respective union territories, and the above chart was the capital of the 28 states which we have in our country. Now let's see the physical divisions of India. India has varied physical features like mountains, plateaus, deserts, rivers and islands. Yes, that is right. In India, we have a lot of physical features, that is, we have mountains, we have plateaus, deserts, rivers and islands respectively. Our country is divided into 6 physical divisions on the basis of these features. So, in our country, we have 6 physical divisions. They are the Northern Mountains, the Great Indian Desert, the Coastal Plains, the Northern Plains, the Peninsular Plateau and the islands. So let's read them and understand. Look at different features used in the physical map of India. Each color denotes a physical feature of a country. Refer to the physical map of India showing the physical divisions of the country in the student's booklet. So if you see in the physical map of India, my dear children, you will see that we have a lot of colors in that particular map, and each color highlights a physical feature, whether that physical feature is telling us about the northern mountains or it is telling about the Great Indian Desert, etc. So each color, it tells us about a physical feature of our country. You will see this in the physical map. The brown portion in the map denotes the Himalayan mountains or the northern mountains. They are the highest mountain range in the world. They form the northern border of the country and have the source of many rivers in them. So first we come to the brown portion in the physical map, and it highlights or it tells us about the Himalayan mountains or the northern mountains. They are the highest mountain range in the world, and they form the northern border of our country, and many rivers, they start from the Himalayan mountains or the northern mountains. To the south of the northern mountains lie the northern plains. Many crops are grown in this region on the flat fertile lands. So to the south of the northern mountains, we have the northern plains. Many crops are grown in this particular region because they are very much fertile, which means they are very much good for growing crops. The Great Indian Desert is also known as the Thar Desert. It spreads over the northwestern part of India. So next we come to the Great Indian Desert. It is also known as the Thar Desert. It spreads it is located towards the northwestern part of India. The sandy area is dry and receives less rainfall. So in this particular region, the area is fully dry and it receives very less rainfall. Now we come to the Peninsular Plateau. The Peninsular Plateau lies to the south of the northern plains. The peninsula is inverted triangular in shape and extends till the southernmost tip of the mainland. So the Peninsular Plateau, it is located towards the south of the northern plains, and the peninsula is like a shape of a triangular and it extends till the southernmost tip of the mainland. Next we come to the coastal plains. The coastal plains lie on the eastern and the western coast of the country. In the west, the coastal plains occupy the region between the Arabian Sea and the Western Ghats, and in the east, they occupy the region between the Eastern Ghats and the Bay of Bengal. So the coastal plains, it is situated towards the eastern and the western coast of the country. Towards the west, it is situated in the coastal plain. The coastal plains is situated between the Arabian Sea and the Western Ghats towards the west, and in the east, they are situated between the Eastern Ghats and the Bay of Bengal respectively. The Western Ghats is also known as Sahyadri and is famous for its biodiversity. So the Western Ghats is also known as Sahyadri and it is famous for biodiversity. Now what is biodiversity, my dear children? As you can see in the lookup, the meaning of biodiversity is the variety and types of animals and plants found in a particular habitat. So it means in this particular region, that is in the Western Ghats, we have a variety of plants as well as animals that are found only in the Western Ghats. So it is famous for that particular biodiversity. India has an island group on its either side. So on this either side, in our country, we have a group of islands also. Let's read about those islands. The Andaman and the Nicobar Islands are located in the Bay of Bengal. The Lakshadweep Islands are located in the Arabian Sea. So when we come to the islands, we see that the Andaman and Nicobar Islands, they are located towards the Bay of Bengal, and the Lakshadweep Islands are located in the Arabian Sea. This understanding of the geographical divisions of the country helps us understand the rich diversity of a country and also helps us appreciate our homeland more. So in this particular area, my dear children, we have learnt about the various physical divisions of India on which our country, India, is divided, and in this particular way, our country, India, is known for its diversity and for the various types of physical divisions which we have. So, my dear children, in this way, we have completed chapter number 3 of Social Science for Standard 4. Thank you.